Hello, welcome back. As always, I am your kind and humble and even merciful dungeon master, Mr. Ralph. For those of you who have been following our videos, you'll notice that we haven't posted any in a couple days, at least not for this week. So I wanted to kind of explain that. We had a few party members who were unable to attend, and nobody really wants to see two guys running through a dungeon while the dungeon master plays the characters who didn't make it. So rather than broadcasting that, I decided to just do a summary. So where did we leave off? If you recall, our party had encountered, when we last left, Mr. Jarrus Falk. Who is Mr. Jarrus Falk? Well, Jarrus Falk was the town magistrate. And as the town magistrate, he had managed to collect a few magical items. At least, that's what they thought. So he came and threatened them, told them he wanted all of the loot they had gained up until that point. They refused, adamantly, and rightfully so. It didn't belong to him, it was theirs, they found it. So what then? Well, they then did battle. They defeated him, easily defeated him, and continued on their quest. Also, it had appeared as though Jarrus had dropped a golden mask. And I say appeared because, well, you'll find that part out later. So they continued on. They went through the portal and found themselves in a deeper part of the dungeon. They found themselves in this room, right here. This room right here. And they began to explore. And they found a series of rooms. 7 rooms. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the lore behind the Mad Mage, you will remember that Alistair Blackcloak had 7 apprentices. And these were their rooms. Unfortunately, the party didn't learn that because they failed to make the necessary checks. But they still performed adamantly. However, when they got into that last of the 3 rooms, the south side of the hall, namely this room, they activated one of these traps. And a gelatinous cube erupted from the cage inlaid in the ground. They fought the gelatinous cube and dispatched it quite quickly, and then continued. When they entered this room, they discovered a journal owned by Alistair Blackcloak. It was sealed with magic, and they were unable to open it, though not for lack of trying. And in the other rooms, they found something else very interesting. They found statuettes of various gods, both of Faerun and of the Nintir Vale, which is very odd. They found one for Bahal, one for Avandra, one for Tymora, one for Asmodeus, and one for Orcus. Upon obtaining their loot, they continued along their journey. They were then charmed, at least 2 of the party members were, and they then head first at full speed into this room, where they encountered this statue-looking item. It was an elliptical shape, almost like an egg, made of gold, with bronze tendrils erupting from it. Midrak, if you've been watching, you'll know that that's the Dragonborn fighter, was charmed, and so was Gentook. Gentook was restrained by Lorinati, the half-elf sorcerer, but Midrak was not. So he dove headfirst into the pool and struck the object with his sword. A massive crack appeared within it. The mask, which had been left, suddenly zoomed past him and embedded itself within the crack. The golden statue then began to fall away, revealing itself to be an egg. The bronze tendrils crumbled and fell into the pool, revealing them to be casings for tentacles. That's right, it was a kraken egg. They then did battle with the fledgling kraken and smote it, but not without a cost. Leka, the dwarf paladin, fell unconscious. Actually, she was eaten by the kraken, and then, once it defeated, he expelled her, and she was unconscious, and they were unable to wake her no matter what they did. But she did appear to be alive. So to try to find something to help them out, they continued on in the dungeon. They found this and discovered it to be a portal, which by manipulating the talons of the dragon claws could bring them to various places. In this other room, they discovered an altar and two altars, really. One altar to Orcus, one altar to Timora. They then discovered, by utilizing a wish crystal, which they had gotten. If you have read the description in the first video, you'll know where they got one of those crystals. And they summoned the goddess Timora. She then revealed to them that they could return the paladin to this plane of existence by entering the Shadowfell and freeing her soul, which is being held captive by Dagon. And let me explain to you why that is. After the defeat of the Kraken, the golden mask then re-revealed itself and spoke to them in the voice of the god Dagon, the chaotic god of ocean and storms. He informed them that the Kraken was his creature, a creature of his construction, and they were meant to be his first meal. And he would basically claim revenge on them for destroying his pet. This was part of his revenge. However, the party then entered the Shadowfell through the portal that the altar of Orcus contained and returned her soul to her body. This angered the god even more. Now, fully restored and fully restocked, they continued along their journey until they reached this room. In this room, they found a crypt. Standing over the crypt was a statue of the god Dagon. Well, at this point, Jarrus Falk reappeared, because if you have been watching, you'll know that he got away during the first fight. So he reappeared and told them that he would have their lives for the dishonor they had done to him. Only during the fight, the golden mask of Dagon reappeared and basically implanted itself upon Jarrus's face. The god Dagon then took over his body, and an epic fight with a chaotic deity ensued. I really, really wish I could have broadcast it. But again, we didn't have all the party there. Would not have been fun. So, at the cost of 2 party members going unconscious, almost dying, but they had been revived, they then looted what was inside of the crypt and made their way back to Waterdeep. However, during the fight, they also discovered that the dagger, and again, if you had watched the first video and read the description, you'll know what I mean. The dagger that they had failed, let's just say that, to return to the orc blacksmith was in fact an ancient dagger of great power, capable of destroying even a god, and trapping its soul within the blade. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the lore of Faerun, then you know about the end of the Age of Upheaval, the time in which the gods disappear from this realm. Apparently, this party will be crucial in that prophecy, and that is basically what they learned. After they were confronted by Asmodeus, who demanded the dagger and refused to barter with them, they returned to Waterdeep. They returned to the gentleman who had dispatched them on this quest and informed them of the epic tale of their time under the mountain. They also returned the blade of the Lich King, which was also within that crypt, and is now owed a favor by the Lich King. For those of you who have played campaigns with the Lich King involved, you'll know that that's no small thing. However, they decided to bank it because they couldn't really decide on what they wanted, so they said, let's just save it for later, which they did. And they then returned to Waterdeep. In Waterdeep, they told their story. Their story was retold by the citizens to all those who would listen. and they became something of well-renowned heroes. And they also discovered that a former party member of theirs, Shane, had also opened up a tavern in their name. So they now own a business, which they will have expanded on and will continue to expand on. And that pretty much ended that quest line. So what are they going to do from there? I mean, they've discovered a unknown part of Undermountain. They've gained great fame and renown in the town of Waterdeep. Where are we going to go from there? Well, that also happened this week. They were confronted, or not confronted, but followed by a member of the Yellow Skull cult. Upon confronting this person, they discovered that Calorel wanted to meet them. Calorel being the leader of the Yellow Skull cult. Well, why is that important? Well, one of the things that they asked of Tymora when they had her before them was Gentook asked who was responsible for destroying his monastery. And he was given an answer. A group known as the Yellow Skulls was responsible. But why? Why would they do that? Why would they kill an entire monastery? Well, that's going to be revealed in later episodes. He then requested a confrontation. We don't know why. All we know is he wants to meet the gnome. And we will discover that during the next episode. For those of you who have followed us so far, we look forward to seeing you in future episodes. And we also look forward to bringing you many more fun adventures. Again, I am your humble DM, Ralph, and it's been a pleasure escorting you through the halls of Undermountain, and I hope you have had just as much fun as I have. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a fan. If you subscribe, thank you for that. And also, continue to watch, because I'm also going to be trying to involve the audience a little bit more. Starting right now. For those of you who will watch, feel free to leave a comment below about the following topic. During the upcoming battle with the Yellow Skull Bandits, Calorel will be present during the beginning, but he will leave before the battle starts. What will he leave to fight and destroy the party who has interrupted his plans? That I leave up to you. You have one of three choices. They can either fight a Dracolich, they can fight a Hydra, or they can fight a Nightmare Rider. Sorry, I kind of blanked on that for a minute. If you don't know what any of these things are, go ahead and feel free to check the monster manual. Please leave a comment below for your vote. Whichever gets the most votes will be what Calorel leaves behind for them to fight. Look forward to seeing what you all vote for. And, real quick note. The Nightmare Rider probably won't be in the D&D Next Monster Manual as of yet. I've checked. I don't think he is. But for those of you who basically need to know what a nightmare is is basically a demon horse. So a Nightmare Rider would be someone who rides a demon horse. So basically a Hell Knight. Very, very fun monster to fight. I've fought them a couple times, and it can be quite epic if done correctly. So, again, post your comments below for your vote. Once again, I am your humble DM, Mr. Ralph, and I look forward to seeing you all in upcoming adventures. Have a wonderful day.